Calling all Marine Corps spouses. Looking for real talk on Marine Corps life? Tune in to Behind the Camouflage, the podcast that connects, inspires, and empowers our Marine Corps family. From career advice to personal stories, we've got you covered. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, Scuttlebutt listeners. This is episode 199. This week, we welcome Jonathan J.T. Taylor to the show. J.T. is a retired sergeant, a former Scout Sniper, and president of the Scout Sniper Association. And at the time of the recording, JT was submitting a package to History Division to be confirmed as having the longest confirmed kill in Marine Corps history. Even more amazing than that is his work with Scout Sniper Association. JT embodies the ethos of no Marine left behind, and he and his brethren at the Scout Sniper Association are dedicated to making sure that this is true for the Marine Scout Sniper community. As a veteran support organization, they focus on not only maintaining the brotherhood that veteran Marines felt while in uniform, but also looking out for one another, even though they may be thousands of miles away. JT talks to us about hog calls, reunions, family support, and even raising funds to ensure their members can make their house payments. I mean, one of the first buttons you see on the homepage of their website is Request Help. JT has a great story, and we're thrilled he came on to tell it. Here is episode 199. Hey, Scuttlebutt listeners. Thank you for joining us. I'm Vic. I'm here with Nancy.
Hey, Vic. How you doing?
Pretty well. So we're talking headsets.
Right.
Real gripping type of conversation. And so you're saying it's comfortable for you.
Yes. Yeah. As having a weekend hobby of being a passenger in a small airplane, because as I said, I don't know how to fly the airplane.
Yeah.
My husband does all the flying. But there's this comfort level in putting the headsets like we use here in the recording studio, because that means, all right, we're ready to go. And that's also about the time where I can check out for about the next hour or so, because that's the one place where no one has any expectations that I'm going to have to do anything, because they know I don't know how to do anything in the airplane. I can look for other air traffic and I can be like, hey, do you guys see that other airplane over there at 11 o'clock?
Cloud. That cloud looks like a... like, stop. Yeah, as an am tracker, I appreciate the headset too. You
Appreciate
put your
it,
helmet on, you get but it was old, man. As you probably, I don't know. Did you do much mech stuff, or were you always ground pounding?
Yeah, well, we were in vehicles often.
Okay.
So I mean, a lot of vehicle commander type stuff.
Yeah,
or
CVC helmets and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't have. We had inter-team communication, which was like the Motorola little Motorola radios.
Yeah, right.
With the headsets.
Yeah.
But we rarely used them.
Oh, okay.
I tried to make my team always have them and use them.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, guys didn't charge their radios or bring their batteries, and I'd be bitching like the whole patrol.
Yeah.
It'd set me off the whole patrol.
Yeah, no, we had the same thing with the headset dealie. But yeah, I mean, there's just a certain comfort level.
Yes.
Because it also does the noise cancellation thing too. So you're kind of you go into this bubble of.
That's right.
Yeah, but man, if you are using if everybody has their own inter-team comm and everybody's on comm, it really makes stuff easier.
God,
man,
tell me about it.
You don't have to stop and walk back and grab somebody and psst, hey, psst,
yeah, or do it
Yeah, I mean, man, it makes stuff move a lot smaller, especially sneaking around at night. If you can just talk oh man, it's
yeah.
I have a funny story about the whole headset and everybody being on
around at night,
comms. Not sneaking around at night. So I'm in the airplane and I was in the back seat. My husband was up front in the right seat instructing my youngest, Sam, who everybody knows has been a guest on this show. Sam might have been 13 at the time, student pilot. And he said, Mom, I need you to unplug your headset. I need to ask Dad a question, and I don't want you to hear it. And I went, excuse me? No, Mom, I really need you to unplug your headset because I have to ask Dad a question, and I don't want you to hear it because I'm afraid you're going to be scared.
Is he talk about his man parts?
No, it's I'm afraid you're going to get scared.
Oh, there's something going on.
Yes. I said, well, guess what, son? Now I'm definitely not unplugging the headset. Bruce said, Sam, dude, you can't, just little word to the wise, no. So just go ahead and ask the question out. And it was a benign question. It was just, hey, I forgot to switch the fuel tanks at the last check. Should I do it now or wait until the next check time? I'm like, man, you know.
Yeah.
But he was 13, so.
Yeah, he's learning. He's getting
He was
his
learning.
It's good that he cares enough.
He did. He was afraid I was going to have a freak out in the back seat. I did not have a freak out until he said, hey, I'm afraid you're going to have a freak out. And I really got to ask this question. Anyway.
I wasn't going to, but I will now.
Yeah. So we got to introduce our guest. We brought him in.
The third voice you've been hearing is of Sergeant...
retired
Jonathan Taylor. JT, thank you for being here.
No problem, man. Appreciate it.
This is so few things. So you are a former scout sniper.
Mm-hmm.
You are the president of the Scout Sniper Association. Mm-hmm. And we really appreciate being. And you are about to, I guess, is confirmed the right word, or you are about to be validated?
So I have a package in. That's
actually it's here in studio.
Right. That is being investigated and voted on for the longest ever confirmed kill by a Marine sniper in combat. Yep. So hopefully, I just got an email yesterday from the History Division saying that they are willing to accept the package. They're just waiting on a couple more signatures, so it looks like it's going to get confirmed.
Yeah. This is breaking news right here.
This is breaking
awesome.
news.
Yeah.
We're right here on the forefront. This is great.
Pretty awesome, man, because it's
real.
Especially something that happened in 2011, and I've just told the story last year the first time.
Really?
Yeah, this wasn't we were talking a little bit before we were recording, but like this wasn't you waving the flag and aircraft banners over the beach to say like I have the This was just in passing. You had just mentioned some. Yeah, could you tell a little bit of that story? Yeah,
so when I became, I wouldn't say like a lot of guys, but when I first got out of the military, I wouldn't say I was jaded, but I was ready to be out of the military.
Yeah.
So I kind of dropped everything and just kind of disconnected from military. And after a few years, when I started getting my life back together, started getting, got a good job and a career, got my degree, got married, started putting my life together as a civilian, adulting and made the full transition, into being a civilian. I started having that urge and that need to be reconnected with the military. And randomly one day, I got a call from at the time, the current president of the Scout Sniper Association, because they had a board election coming up, and they were taking nominations for board members. And he asked me if I'd be willing to nominate myself, and I was like, well, possibly. Let me talk to the wife and see what kind of commitment it's going to require, but I think so. I've been looking to get back connected with the community, so I did, and sent in a nomination form, and during that nomination process, the SSA sends out a letter to all the existing membership that's got the nominations, the nominees. And it basically, he asked a question. He's like, hey, if anybody has anything negative or positive to say about any of these nominees, please let us know so we know who we're getting. And he, I followed up with him about a week later. I was like, hey, how's everything going with the process? He's like, well, I can tell you that out of all the nominees, I didn't receive anything from anybody except for you. And I got multiple emails, people vouching for you. And I was like, well, that's good. It means that
that's awesome.
There are people still out that remember me that, obviously I made some kind of impact on somebody. So I was like, all right, this is kind of leading me to where I think I need to be going. Maybe it's God talking to me saying, hey, you need to do this. So I did and got elected on the board. Came on the board as just a regular board member. And after a couple of months, got offered to be the VP or the COO, and then naturally, the CEO had to step down because due to his time limits on the bylaws. Per bylaws, you get 6 years on the board, and his time was up. So I was his number one choice to take over the CEO, and then got voted in as the CEO. So basically, after my first year on the board, I was now the CEO, which is
Wow.
kind of
That's crazy.
yeah, kind of nuts. But it was a lot to take on. It was like drinking from a fire hose for sure. But I was dedicated to do it and really wanted to help out the community, and seeing that there was a lot of ways that the SSA could really be a valuable asset to the sniper community. Not that they hadn't been doing stuff in the years before, but they weren't as active as they could be, and I've seen some gaps.
Okay.
So we were able to do that and kind of pick up our activity by also bringing in other quality board members that wanted to work and wanted to leave an impact. And now we've built a pretty good board of directors that are all putting in quality work, and we're growing the association significantly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys, and so we had during Modern Day Marine, we had talked a little bit through about the heritage, the Scout Sniper heritage. So you guys are associated but aren't the same.
Yeah. So the
bit
former
about-
president of the Scout Sniper Association, Tim Parkhurst, when his time was up on the board, he pitched an idea to start a separate foundation or association as a sister of the SSA, called the Scout Sniper Heritage Foundation. And the mission of that was to see through the mission of having our fallen sniper war memorial built and constructed, and then also doing a comprehensive historical research on Scout Sniper history. The reason we wanted to start a new association to do that is because our current board at the SSA didn't have the bandwidth to take that all on. That's a big project.
Yeah, for sure.
All volunteer board.
Yeah.
So out of the 15 guys on our board, sometimes you got 4 or 5 guys that are kind of active. You got some guys that are kind of off to the weeds, and then they'll pop back up. It's just how life takes over
totally.
when it's voluntary, and we understand that. So we knew that it would be a lot to take on. So Tim started that up from the ground, and it's done very well. And so we support them, and we're trying to, we coming up with ways to help fundraise that's separate from the SSA, because in a way we're competing for the same pockets of money because we're the same.
Right.
It's the same genre,
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
So we're trying to come up with ways to fundraise separately for them.
And shameless plug, listeners can read all about that in the June issue of Leatherneck Magazine.
Yeah, which is on the shelves now.
It is, yeah, it's out there right now.
There's not many shelves though.
No, what are the shelves? What are you even talking about?
There used to be shelves. There used to
There's
be.
no shelf.
There used to be every damn barbershop you
Yeah.
go to used to have Gazette and Leathernecks in it.
Here in Quantico at the Marine Shop, it's on the actual shelf.
it is.
The literal shelf.
So there's the
Yeah,
shelf.
shelf.
All right, there's
All
the
right.
shelf. Jesus.
Or Google. Just Google.
Yeah,
That's
just
right.
Google. So, and I guess in short, then, you're to maybe oversimplify it is that the Heritage Foundation is trying to preserve the legacy of the Scout Snipers, and you guys are focused on the individual Marine and making sure that they're taken care of, right?
Yep, the Marine, the individual Marine and their family.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nonprofits, military nonprofits that provide assistance to the service member. We are one that provides assistance to the family also. So we consider it one and the same. If your family needs assistance.
Can you give an example of what
so,
that would be?
So for instance, we had a case where a Marine sniper's wife needed emergency dental surgery, and they didn't have dental insurance, or whatever they had wouldn't cover what she needed to get done. So we were able to help cover that for them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Things like that, or helping with job searches for spouses, helping with helping them pay for childcare. If somebody lost a job and they're down on their luck and they need help with childcare, or say their spouse has cancer or something like that, we can help share GoFundMe's and start GoFundMe's and fundraisers to help them get through the hump. And we've done that for a couple of people. But we really don't turn away anybody that reaches out, because that's one thing that we're kind of dedicated to keep it like that, and not have a lot of parameters set on how we provide how we provide assistance. Because with our board of directors of 15 highly qualified people, we think that we can come up with a way to figure out just about any situation and how to.
That's
you know.
awesome.
So we've left it kind of open ended on what we will support. We're not going to pay for people that have legal issues. We're not going to buy their attorney, but we may recommend an attorney for you, those kind of things through our network of people that, we reach out to people and we're just kind of connected. We're deep with everybody has somebody they know that can help with something.
That's awesome.
So
I love that community.
Yeah, that's kind of how we do it. We don't have, there's no parameter set to where we'll only give you this much money if you have this and a lot of times it's not just monetary things that we're giving out. We're not just giving out money, like crazy. Sometimes that is a lot of it that people are falling on hard times, and especially with the economy and things. And, sometimes it is just helping somebody get through the hump by helping them pay their mortgage for a month or two. And if that's the case, we'll make guys submit a budget to us, and we'll go through their budget with them. We'll help them. We'll give them some financial assistance and guidance, and we'll pay the mortgage company right straight out, things like that. But yeah, we try not to turn people away. I mean, we try to do what we can to help the community. That's what we're here for. And sometimes it's just sending a sniper that's in their local area out to meet up with them and give them some one-on-one brotherly love.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what are you doing? Square your shit away.
Which it sounds to me, and I think this is a theme that has come up, and it resonates with me. But when you get out, oftentimes once either the euphoria or the fucking nut shot wears off, you start to realize that that's the thing that's really missing. Like that's sort of that void that it really can't be filled. Especially if you are, transitioning to an area that doesn't have, like, in Oceanside, for example, you could probably find a sense of community as, a former Marine. But, if you're in...
Yeah, if you're moving out to Western Kentucky.
Right, exactly. Or,
there's not going to be a lot of Marines around.
Flint, Michigan or some shit. Yeah, you're not going to...
Yeah, and that's what we... And how we help with that is we have our hog calls. We call them hog calls. And basically, a hog call is just a gathering of snipers.
Yeah.
And we promote any scout sniper anywhere in the world can request to have a hog call hosted through us. So what we'll do is you reach out. Say you live in Flint, Michigan, and you're struggling. You want to meet some brothers. You want to meet some snipers in the area. You're just missing that connection. You can reach out to us on our website. We got a button that says request a hog call. You can click it. Put in the information, and then basically we will contact you and help you plan that hog call. We'll share the message for you. We'll provide a list of phone numbers of everybody that we have in our membership that's in that state or that area or the tri-state area, whatever. And we'll send a direct email out to all those guys and promote it. And sometimes you may have 5 guys show up. You may have 30. You never know. And then we'll sponsor up to $1,500 going towards that event.
That's awesome.
Whether it's food, booze, whatever you're trying to do. If you want to do a shooting event, if you want to just go to a brewery and put money on the tab, and however you want to do it. So
that's a great idea.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, and we do those. We encourage guys to do those all across the nation, as many as they can.
And you guys also host yourselves, right? Like shooting events, right?
We do. So we have a couple of events every year that we do. One is we do an Army versus Marine grudge match.
Oh, cool.
Which is pretty good over the last few years. We've done that. It's been a really good turnout. Traditionally, we have 5 Army teams and 5 Marine teams, snipers. They all have to be school-trained snipers. And we run them through a PRS-style match, precision rifle shooting style, a series-style match for a day or two. And whoever comes out the victor, we've got a trophy we pass back and forth.
That's awesome.
Last year the Army won it. Year before was the Marines. So I mean, right now it's in the Army's hands, but hopefully Marines can take it back this year. We'll see.
Pro wrestling belts.
Yeah, we should do. We might do that this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, put together some belts, but yeah, we reach out to a lot of different vendors in the industry to donate for that, prize table items, and last year we had some pretty freaking sick items. We had night vision, that they could choose from.
Oh, that's awesome.
Weapons, you name it, man. It's pretty sweet.
So as we're talking about community, I guess what brought you to this community initially? Like, what was your sort of path to the Yellow Footprints? Did you grow up like idolizing Marines or have Marines family, or was it just like, I'm 18 years old and I'm not in high school anymore?
Well, so I grew up in rural Mississippi, northeast Mississippi. There's not a lot of opportunities. I'm the first person in my family to ever graduate college or really go to college. I'm the first person to ever leave my hometown.
No kidding.
So I didn't have a lot to fall back on, so it was all up on me to make my own way. College wasn't it for me. I tried to go. I was an athlete. I walked on baseball scholarship at Northeast Community College, but didn't last. I didn't know how to go to school or be a student whatsoever.
I had those periods too. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And so that fell through pretty quickly. So then it was like, all right, what's another option for this area? Well, construction. So I started working construction for a little bit. Like, this ain't it. And then what's next? Well, law enforcement. So I went and worked at the sheriff's department as corrections officer. Did that for a little bit.
Yeah, that's sort of the starting point, right? That's sort of the end dog.
And I wasn't even 21 yet, so they won't even approve you to go to the police academy till you're 21.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, man, I got to wait a whole year working in this jail, fist fighting every day, getting pepper sprayed every day. I was like, man, this ain't it. So my other option, and always in the back of my mind, I wanted to go in the military anyway.
Okay.
And about this time is when 9/11 kicked off. And then I was like, I'm gone. I'm out of here. So I want to be a Navy SEAL at first.
Of course.
That's the Gucci.
That's it, man.
The movies, Charlie Sheen and Navy SEALs, the 80s movie. Love that.
Or The Rock, right?
Dude.
Like, even though they all get smoked, but they still look cool.
That movie with Charlie Sheen and Navy SEALs.
Yeah, Michael Biehn.
That's the one that really.
I forgot about that.
That always made me want to join the SEALs, but I had like a very minuscule knee injury in high school, and that's what kept me back from doing the SEALs, because I was like, man, if something happens in Buds and I get injured and I can't be a SEAL, then I'm stuck being fucking Navy.
Yeah.
Hell no. Yeah. Because that's two different navies. You got the SEALs and you got the Navy.
Understood.
I didn't want anything to do with Navy.
Every time we went to port and you man the rails and you see some poor sailor brasso in the shit, you're like, God, thank God I didn't do that.
What happened to you? Oh, I'm a Buds drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Not me, buddy. So I went and talked to the Marine recruiter, and he was like, you ever heard of recon? You ever heard of snipers? There's all kind of things you can do to put you into battle, and I was like, all right, I'll try it then. So I went in. Within a month, I was shipped. From the time I walked in the recruiting office, 30 days later, I was at boot camp.
Kiss and ship. Man, you were a godsend.
So, I was like, I just want to go immediately. And they're like, all right, sign right here, buddy. Infantry, got it.
I was on recruiting duty, man. Yeah. You were a gift from God.
Yep. Infantry, you got all your paperwork. All right, here you go, man. So, I went to boot camp. Of course, boot camp's not hard. It's just a pain in the ass and frustrating.
Just be used to yell at you all day. Yeah.
That's it. It's not hard. So I made it through boot camp, of course, and then after boot camp, I went to SOI at Camp Lejeune and started out as a machine gunner.
Okay.
So did machine guns course there. Did my first deployment on the 22nd MEU as a machine gunner in 2005. Which was a pretty awesome first deployment because we got to go to Rome, we got to go to Cartagena, we got to go to Spain, Rome, Djibouti, went into Kuwait, went into Iraq, actually got some combat time for like 60 days, 65 days, something like that. Lost a few guys, a lot of IEDs. We're in a town called Hit.
Yeah.
Hit had just got basically ransacked from a West Coast unit before we got there. So they cleared out a lot of the bad guys, but when we got there, they were slowly trickling back in. So a lot of IED action while we were there. And then that's when I was first introduced to the snipers, because they were actually staying at the same patrol base with us. And as a PFC, I I knew they were Marine snipers, but I didn't know where they were at.
Mm.
I didn't even really know they were in the infantry unit. Because you don't have time to even think about anything else. You're just trying to learn what your job and not get hazed, So I seen these guys coming in and out of the patrol base at night. They're all geared up. They got different gear. They got sniper rifles. They're cammied up. They're look like grown men versus us that look like children. I felt like,
Mm.
and they're moving in small teams and doing their own thing. They're on their own program. I was like, man, that's what I want to do. I want to be in that. So I want to be a recon. I want to be in recon, but I didn't have the GT score. Go figure. So anyway, so I started talking to those guys on deployment. I was like, how do I get in? They're like, oh, as soon as we get back, we're having an in-doc. So go try out. So I did. And another one of my machine gun friends went with me. And we went to the in-doc as soon as we got off deployment. And the in-doc, there was 24 of us. 7 of us finished it without quitting. And they kept 6 of us.
Nice. And were you, I know some of the times in-doc stuff is kind of kept close to the vest, but I'm assuming there's shooting, or is it all physical, mental?
It's all physical, mental.
Okay.
It's just seeing if you have nuts or not.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, that's all it's about. It's literally just.
It's more of a testicular
treat
test.
you like shit
Yeah.
for as long as they can keep you out there legally, and then make you crawl your ass back to main side. I mean, that's really. We hiked out there.
You're really selling this, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, there's people on the other end that are salivating.
Yeah. Yeah, you basically, like I said, there was 24 of us from the battalion that tried out. And to even try out, you have to they do a basic SRB screening. So you have to have a first class PFT, you have to have an expert rifle range score. You have to be a fairly squared away Marine or they won't even let you come try out. So basically you're getting the top 1% of the battalion infantry guys that are going out for state platoon. That's just kind of how it naturally works out, because that's the guys that want to do a little something more, push themselves a little more. So the NDOC we had was, I think it was 8 days, 7 or 8 days. They can go from either 2 weeks, 5 days to 2 weeks. I want to say ours was a little over a week, but it was brutal, man. I mean, it was, we hiked out to the training range, about 5 miles, carrying logs, carrying water jugs, carrying MREs, everything that we needed. And then got there, set up the camp, and then just went straight into PT, jumping in the water, getting wet, getting out of the water, patrolling all night, doing land nav all night, very little sleep, very little food, taking written evaluations all day long. When you're not getting messed with. In between those times, you're taking a test on infantry knowledge. And then it's pretty brutal. So by the last day, we make our way back, and we only had probably 10 guys left on the humpback. And out of those 10, 3 guys dropped on the hike.
No shit.
And then the 7 of us that finished, they only kept 6 of us. So you feel pretty accomplished. I mean, at that time in my life, that was the hardest thing I'd ever done. By far.
And you're what? How old now at this point? 22?
I was probably 22, 23. Yeah. Which I was kind of a little older than the average guy at that time. So naturally that kind of put me, I wouldn't say ahead, but a little bit. I mean, so we got back to the battalion. They accepted us in the platoon. We trained for about a week or 2, and then they had sniper school coming up. And we had 2 guys that were going to go that were already in the platoon for a year, and they had bid their time, and they were going to go to sniper school. But one of the guys got a DUI like the week before, so they're like, "Hey, Taylor, you're next." I was like, "Oh fuck!" I didn't know shit.
Yeah,
I didn't know shit about being a sniper, and these guys that were already in platoon, because they like to send guys to sniper school that have already been in the platoon at least a year, or at least had one combat deployment, because you've got all the basic knowledge so you don't have to focus so hard in sniper school. You focus on the actual evaluated parts. You don't have to focus at night learning definitions and writing, that kind of shit. Well, I didn't know any of that shit. So all night at sniper school, I'm memorizing definitions that the rest of the guys already knew
Wow.
because we had to test out on them.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked. But anyway, ended up making it through sniper school, miracle. And then once I got back to the platoon, I was now a team leader.
Wow.
Lance Corporal, sniper team leader, 0 experience. Here you go. Here's your team. We're going to Iraq.
Oh, man.
Don't die.
What is going on with you, man, that you get like these rapid ascensions?
Yeah, man. So, yeah. Well,
like, hey, you want to join? You want to be boss now? Like, okay,
yeah.
I guess I'm in charge.
That's just how, I don't know, man. I don't know. But so I became a team leader off the bat because during that time, there were so few actual school trained snipers because the workups were so quick. The deployment cycle was so fast.
Yeah.
You only had one shot at sending guys to school, and there's a 60% attrition rate. So if you send 3 guys, there's possibly 2 of them are going to pass anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it was, and if you missed your shot that year, you might not get it till you get back from deployment.
Right, which is,
and most guys are doing
months.
4 years and out anyway.
Yep.
So we deployed that sniper platoon in 1-2. We deployed with 5 school trained snipers out of the whole platoon. So each team leader was a school trained sniper, and that was it. Everybody else was just
a good shot,
just a good guy.
Yeah.
PT stud.
Yeah.
They were just there and on the team, but they were doing everything else. So as the war progressed and time progressed, we started getting a lot more guys through schools. And when I ended up deploying my last time with 3-9, we had 15 school trained snipers and like 14, 13 sergeants in our platoon, which is the most stacked platoon probably in the history that I could ever think about. I've never heard of a platoon that had that many and that many sergeants. That's more than most companies.
For sure.
And but that deployment, the first deployment where we had 5 school trained guys, we were all Lance Corporals. I mean,
it's so crazy.
We had 1 sergeant as a team leader. We had 1 guy that got promoted to corporal during the deployment.
Right.
But other than that, we were all Lance Corporals and PFCs, the whole fucking platoon. And we're running like no shit missions.
Yeah.
And briefing colonels and briefing MU commanders. I mean, no shit, man. Like it was a lot. And when my first ever sniper kill was on that deployment, and how it happened is kind of funny because I wouldn't say funny, but
you're about to say as funny as sniper kills can be.
Yeah.
It was like your picture perfect sniper mission, and this AAV unit actually, because back then if you deployed, you were professional infantry. It didn't matter who you were.
Oh yeah,
you were going infantry. So if you're AAVs, if you're tracks, whatever you were, when you go to Iraq, you're getting an AO. You're fucking patrolling.
Mm-hmm.
So hang the rest of that shit up.
Indeed.
Until you get back. Tankers, everybody.
Yeah.
So this AAV unit had 1 AO that they were in charge of. They were patrolling, and it was a city called Dulab.
Oh, I remember Dulab. I was actually supposed to go to Dulab and we ended up in Abu Hayat.
Yeah. I've been to Abu Hayat too.
Yeah.
So Dulab was the city. And it was kind of active. A lot of IEDs, tons of IEDs. And the AAV guys.
Wait, do you remember what year that was, by the way?
It's 2007, 6.
6. All right. So, yeah, I know the guys that you were over there with. Yeah.
So on the river, Dulab was right on the river. Right across the river, they didn't have they couldn't go over there. It was out of their AO.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't send anybody over there. And they knew that there was some caches across the river. And they would take fire anytime they were on that side of town near the caches. They would take small arms fire from across the river. And they were always getting harassed. And they had no long-range capabilities. They had no surveillance or reconnaissance access, assets, nothing like that. So they put a request up through the regiment. Like, hey, can we get a sniper team out here from somebody to help us take some of these guys out? Because we're like, our hands are tied. We can't do much. So they sent my team and old Lance Corporal Taylor and my team of misfits. And actually one of my guys, we were so off the grid at this time that one of my guys had such a gnarly beard that, and he was a Mexican guy named Casaneda, funny dude. But when we showed up to the patrol base with the AAV guys, the first sergeant come up to me. He's like, "Hey, is this your terp?" And I was like, "No, this is this is my ATL." And he's like, "No," he's like, "No English," like, but so, and we didn't wear a rank either. So we had no rank on. We had different gear than they all had. So these dudes thought we were like special forces coming in. They had no clue who we were. And we kept it that way on purpose, We milked it. So
A little bit of mystery.
yeah.
That's right.
And they would look at my rank, my collar before they talked to me, and they'd just be like, they threw at staff sergeant. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, "Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, staff sergeant, so-and-so." And I was Lance Corporal. But I ran with it. Because you get more respect that way in your team, So
Yeah.
anyway, so the company commander called me in. He was like, "All right, hey, how do I call you, staff?" I said, "Just Taylor." He's like, "All right, Taylor, this is what we're trying to do. We're getting fire from this area, this village. We don't have any way to take them out. Is there anything you guys can do to help us out? What can we do?" And I was like, "Well, I'll tell you what you can do. If you keep all your movement out of that area of the village for 2 or 3 days, let us get set in place. Let us get a baseline of the population, see what's going on. After a couple of days with no activity, you guys coming in, they're going to slip up, and we'll catch them. We'll catch them moving weapons. We'll catch them doing something. If there's something over there, we'll see it, because we'll be able to tell." He's like, "All right, done." So we set up on a ridge line. We put one team on the river. We put one team behind them about 300, 400 yards up on a ridge line. So we could oversee everything that was going on. We had our one team down on the river that could take shots if they had to. Now, I was able to take a shot from up where I was at, but it was going to be really far and kind of like pissing in the wind if I shot. But I ended up having to take a shot anyway. That's how the story goes. But so third day, we're still sitting in place, and we're about to break down and get ready to move that night. We hadn't seen much. And we've seen some guys kind of suspiciously walking in the same areas in the palm groves. It kind of looked like they were camping out, hanging out throughout the day. So it was kind of like maybe there is something over there. But unless we get positive ID of any weapons, we can't do shit anyway. So the last day, I'm kind of half asleep, laid back in this little hole that we dug, and I get a call on the radio. "Hey, JT. And he's like, "Hey, I got a guy moving. He's got something under his arm. Just came out of the palm groves." So I crawl up there, get on my gun, get on the spot and scope, and I can see who he's talking about. He's like, "See the guy, black man dress. He's walking on the river." And I was like, "Yep, I see him." He's like, "He's got something wrapped in a schmuck under his arm. Can you see that?" I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "I think that's an AK." So as we watched him, he's like, "We're going to watch him until he gets out of our reach. If we can't see anything, we'll let him go. But if we can see anything, let's drop this dude." So all of a sudden he stops and meets up with another guy, and you can tell it's a deal. He's doing like somebody's like, "Hey, can you go get me an AK out of the cache? I'll give you money," or whatever. So he meets up with this guy, and you see him pull the AK out, take the schmuck off, show it to the guy. The guy's touching it. They're handling it. He gives him like a little bag of whatever, just like they're doing a drug deal basically with the gun. So as this is going down, my buddy that's on the river, Gibson, he's like, "Hey, let's take this advantage to do a Tia 2 and let's both shoot. If you hit them, fine. If you don't, no big deal. I'm here. I'll hit them both anyway." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So we count it down, 5, 4, 3. On 2, we both shot. Boom. So my range, by the way, was 926 yards at the time. So it's 926 yards from a ridge line shooting across a river we didn't know what the wind was.
Right.
Definitely didn't think I was going to hit because we'd been jumping in and out of 7 tons for days, up to this point. Your gun's knocked around, banged around. I hadn't cleaned it in a month, like I'm doing just enough to keep the dust off the glass, and so I'm like, my point man, my spotter, Mike Salvo, climbs up beside me. He's like, he gets all the distance. He's like, "All right, we're ready." Gives me my wind call, gives me my elevation. So I put it on. We do a Tia 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. We both shot, and both guys dropped. Boom.
Wow.
And we were like, holy shit. My buddy's like, Mike's like, you hit him. You fucking hit him. And I was like, oh my God. Can't believe it. So they went down. Well, the guy that my buddy Gibson hit, he was gone. He hit him right in the chest. It was done. He was only 300 yards away. So he dead shot right in the chest. The guy was done. My guy shot him in the right ass cheek. So he was still moving. So I had to re-engage.
Oh, shit.
Shot him a couple more times. Missed a couple times. But by this time, they were bringing in a lot of activity from the village. So people started coming out in waves, like 10 people at first, and it was like 20 people coming out from these houses.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like waving a big wet white bed sheet, like peace, like let us get the guys' bodies, like let us grab them, because the one guy is like screaming still, like help me, help me, I'm getting shot, So at this time there was nothing else we could do, so we're breaking our stuff down, getting ready to move, and during this, the team down the river is starting to take gunfire from across the river.
No kidding.
So now the whole story comes together. Now, yep, it obviously was a cache. That guy was obviously selling a gun. They're now shooting at my guys. They don't know where they're at, but they know general direction. So the rounds are hitting in the treetops, and they're on the radio. Hey, we're getting out of here. You guys cover our movement. So we're like, all right, we got vehicles coming. You guys need to pop a smoke. So they pop a green smoke where they're going to be. Vehicles come in. We come down the mountain. We all link up in the trucks together and get out of there. And we're like, well, that was easy. We fucking did our job. So we get back to patrol base, and everybody's like, fuck yeah, you guys are here for 3 days and you kill somebody. We hadn't killed anybody the whole time, like yeah, well, that's what we do. That's what we're here for.
Just another
day.
Yeah, we'll bill you later.
Punch the clock. That's right.
Bill you later, and then we kind of hung around Dulab for another week or two and did a couple more missions, but yeah, it was it. And guess what? That's how impactful snipers are on the battlefield. It's such a psychological effect when you take somebody out that they didn't know was there.
Oh yeah.
So it shut that area down for like the next month. They didn't have any activity. After we left, they didn't have any activity for like the next month straight, because now they don't know who's out there watching.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that's how impactful we are, on the battlefield, is when your friend turns into a pink mist standing beside you and you don't even know where it's getting shot from, you're going to get out of town for a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you hear all the stories about, obviously Vietnam era, there were a lot of stories. But we had Casey Tellison in studio on the show a couple times, and he has this just, it's weird to say, to talk about how artistic and beautiful his prose was in his memoir, writing about his friend being shot by a sniper in a standing post. But he goes through this whole thing about the round, how it travels over the villages it's going over, and then eventually hitting his buddy. But that's, being on the other side of it and having that persistent threat. Like, we lived in a world where we never had to worry about enemy error, but the sniper threat was always around. And so yeah, the psychology of it, just the sort of stress of having to always worry about, like, who the hell is watching me right now? You're under constant observation, and somebody could take a shot at any moment. It's tough, man. So yeah, I mean, so it works both ways. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to use Army PSYOPs to help us with that too. So we would, when we wanted to shut down the area and keep guys off the roads, because we wanted the guys to stop putting in IEDs. Mm-hmm. So we came up with like a propaganda campaign where we made these flyers in Arabic, and basically we put pictures of guys, like a guy on the side of the road digging, and then the next picture would be a guy laying there with his head blown off, and then we'd put in Arabic, "Hey,
that's subtle.
We're always watching. Somebody's watching. Don't be
stupid.
Don't be the next victim.
Yeah.
Don't be putting IEDs. Snipers are out there. We're watching." And that was kind of the message with these flyers. And then on the backside, we'd say, like, if you have anything to report, go to your nearest
Mm-hmm.
patrol base, come up to the gate, and ask for the post. They ask for an interpreter, or whatever, and you'll get rewarded. And we dropped those. They dropped them out of helos, and then we would drive out of vehicles and throw them out in town. So when we did that, we had even the city workers were starting to come to the patrol base and ask permission to go work on hey, there's a drain that's blocked over there. Do I have permission to go dig?
Yeah, that's right.
Or, hey, this power line needs fixed. Is it okay if I climb the tree? Or, yep, you're good,
Wow.
Yeah. So, after a couple of sniper shots like that, it really shuts the whole area down.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Speaking of sniper shots, so you mentioned it a little bit. So you're submitting this package for the vote. You are going to, not going to, you have, I guess, just dethroned the right word, Carlos Hathcock for the longest shot.
Yeah, and here there's a caveat to that. This is my story, right? This is my personal story. I'm telling my story so that my story is heard. Mm-hmm. There could be other stories out there where guys have longer shots, and that's fine. If so, tell your stories, man.
Absolutely.
Because we don't know what we don't know. A story not told is a story not heard. So
but you weren't campaigning for this.
I'm not campaigning. Yeah. It's not a campaign.
Yeah.
I'm not running for office.
That's right.
This is me personally telling my story. And a lot of the reason is because, we just did away with the Scout Sniper program. Mm-hmm. This Scout Sniper Association is growing, and I'm trying to do what I can to preserve the legacy and help snipers. So by me telling my story, I hope it encourages other snipers to come out and start telling these stories, because what we've realized over the last year with the Heritage Foundation, by doing a comprehensive research of Scout Sniper history, is that there's not a lot. Nobody tells their stories.
Yeah.
And
because and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to make too many assumptions here, although it is sort of my fucking bailiwick. Is that you guys are so niche, like you said. An entire regiment would have maybe 5 teams.
Yeah,
and they could be, depending on the deployment rotation and attrition and all that stuff, fucking a sergeant and 4 lance corporals. And I love, obviously, all of our fellow Marines, but when you're that young and you're only doing one tour, you just sort of disappear, right, into the ether after you get your DD-214.
Yeah.
And I would imagine, and so being an Amtrak, we're so the opposite. Obviously, we're a smaller community, but we love to talk about ourselves constantly. Oh my God, we're so awesome.
Yeah.
He does all the time too.
Yeah, and I think maybe because you guys have to be silent in your hide positions. I'm kidding,
yeah, well, it's just throughout our history, our cultures it's just kind of taboo to talk about it. It's not that people aren't willing to talk about it. Right. It's just, we've just got a weird culture. People just don't want to tell their stories. And a lot of it's due to, I wouldn't say legal reasons or repercussions, but people just like to hold close what they did in combat zones and don't like to air it out there.
Yeah. I think there's a ton of factors involved.
There is. There's a lot of factors in there, that
there's obviously no one wants to be accused of stolen valor stuff, right?
Yeah. And that's a lot of it. But, once I became, I wouldn't say public, but started telling my stories and being on podcasts and becoming the CEO of the association and being putting my face out there for snipers, I realized that I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let people's opinions, whether it's good or bad, hold me back from doing telling my story.
Well, and I got to imagine, though, that it makes it really difficult to transition, especially when you do have that loss of community.
Yeah.
Like we said, regardless of how it was you came about getting your DD-214, at some point you're going to realize I don't have my brothers to the left and the right of me, and that fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, and sorry for jumping in, but when you left the Marine Corps, and if part of your culture is so important, not to talk about your stories, you don't have to within your own community because you all know each other's stories. but then when you leave the Marine Corps, no one you're encountering on a daily basis really knows that, and that must be complicated to deal with.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're a very small community, so you're exactly right. Most all of us know any story that has merit. We all kind of know it because through the grapevine, it's kind of got around,
Like,
But
I went to school with that guy.
right, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I heard about that. Yeah. But it's like I said, it's just our culture not to really make it public. And we're a small community too, so there's just not many of us that have really went public in that realm. That's pursued kind of. I'm like in kind of uncharted grounds now, like being kind of a public person.
Yeah.
There's just not many scout snipers that have done that, and so it's new. And out of the one or two or three or four hate comments, or there's 1,000 supportive comments.
Yeah.
And you just have to. I'm like I said, I'm telling my story.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to step on your story. I'm not trying to downplay anything else.
Yeah, you're not making any claims.
This is my story.
This is what happened. Yeah.
This is my story. If you don't like it, then
Yeah.
don't listen to my story.
Well, one of the things, and one of the things I've learned over the years, I've learned over the years of hearing veteran stories, the power in that story, you telling it now for later on for your family, is so incredibly important. I've talked numerous times with families, children, grandchildren, widows. After Grandpa passes away, well, we know he was a Marine, but we don't really know what he did.
Sure.
And that kind of desperation as they try and piece together, well, he said this one time or he said that one time, and they feel terrible at not being able to, just a small thing like, a one paragraph obituary in Leatherneck magazine. They can't even give you enough information really to do that effectively. And I have encouraged veterans I know, including my own dad, who he's sorry to say it now, but he is Navy veteran. But it's so important to it's your story, and you should tell it rather than letting someone else tell it, because later on, your family is going to be the caretakers of your story, and I think it's really important.
Or having it not being told at all. I mean, like, I joke around all the time that all of my stuff is in the biggest room in the house, the attic.
Yeah.
But I think, especially being an advocate and the president of a veteran support organization, and clearly we're dealing with a mental health crisis amongst veterans. That I think, like you said, once you tell your story, I think it gives sort of permission
for
right?
sure.
It sounds so fucking touchy-feely.
Yeah, it's like
it does
slowly changing the perception and the culture. I mean, and I'm not saying I want everybody to come out and tell all their stories. I'm just saying that, us doing the comprehensive research and history that we've been doing and uncovered through the Heritage Foundation over the last year leads us to recognize there's an issue with Scout Snipers culture not telling their stories and not talking about it, because they've had to dig and dig and dig, and we found out that we go all the way back to World War I.
Yeah.
We didn't know that. It was always sniper school always taught to World War II. And there's just so many impactful things that snipers have done throughout the conflicts in our nation, throughout our history, that we're just uncovering. People that were Scout Snipers that were Medal of Honor winners we never knew about.
Right.
People that were killed in action serving as a Scout Sniper that we never knew or weren't tracking. So that's why it's important to me to get these stories out, because every guy that's in my team that's listed in my story here, all 6 of us that are in my team, will now be in the Marine Corps archives in the history of being a participant in that operation, that mission. So their family can now come and say, oh, let me look for John Sachs in the history. Or
do that research.
Yeah.
Boom, they can find Lance Corporal John Sachs was a member of Shogun 1 Scout Sniper team, and they had the longest ever confirmed kill by a Marine Scout Sniper. Oh, my dad was part of that team. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Same thing as my, the company commander, Lieutenant Colonel D. Machowski, who's now Lieutenant Colonel. is the one that was authorizing me to take the shots and talking to me through the radio. And, you know, now he's a lieutenant colonel here at Quantico. It's great to have him notoriety. You know, hey,
Yeah.
he's the one that made it happen. He put us in the place to do it, you know. So it's just great to tell that story and have everybody recognize for what they've done.
Yeah.
And it's not that our story is anything different than any other Scout Sniper team. It's just I'm telling it.
Right.
Right. And what you did matters.
And you're
I
inviting
mean,
other people to
yeah.
tell theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. We've talked to a number of veteran support organizations. I can't say enough about Patrol Base Abate.
Mhm.
And that, again, that sense of community and of belonging and of purpose, sort of, you know. And I don't know, can you talk a little more? I mean, what are some of the things that you're seeing at that individual Marine level from what you guys are doing at the veteran sport organization level, at that, you know, in the trenches of
building community.
Yeah.
It's awesome because I'll tell you a success story that we've had. I won't say his name, but a really good guy. So we had a guy reach out to us last year that was at his wit's end. I mean, he was in a bad situation mentally, financially, going through a crazy divorce and custody battle, and just really was losing his self-identity. He was losing his identity. And, you know, from the time that I first met him to the time that I was dealing with him as an actual support case for the Scout Sniper Association, it was talking to a different guy. Like he was at his wit's end, and I was very concerned about him. And thank God he reached out to us for assistance. And it was a battle because he was in such a mental state to where he didn't even want to hear what I had to say. You know, and but I was persistent with him and patient with him. And like, hey, let me know when you're ready. Let us know when you're ready. We're here. We're here to help you, but you got to want the help. You got to reach out. You know, let us help you. So when he finally did, and we helped him, you know, we helped him cover his mortgage for a couple months while he was going through this crazy divorce battle. We helped him because he had a card. He had to, he's all these kind of things, man. You know, that pile up on anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
And we helped him for a couple months. Those couple months were able to give him enough breathing room to turn his whole life around. And just that little money that we were able to do to pay his mortgage, so that's one bill he didn't have to worry about. He was able to save up money, take care of everything else he needed to take care of. And now he just just graduated college now, all within the last 2 years.
That's awesome.
Finished his degree. He's now a realtor. Got his real estate license. He's now hooking and jabbing, selling houses. He's now got his degree. He's now got his life turned around. He's now in a great relationship. He's now sees his kids whenever he wants. He's got custody of his, you know, can see his kids when he wants.
That's great.
I mean, that's just one story out of numerous.
That's wonderful.
And I mean, it's just the fact of a lot of snipers are proud people, and I've learned that you don't hear from people when they're doing bad.
Right.
You only hear from people when they're doing good.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true.
That want to reach out and chat. Oh, hey, what's up, man? Yeah. But when they're down and out, you don't hear from them.
Right.
And so that's why we just did this new social media campaign through our profiles to where we call it a hog check. So like every 2 weeks we send out a post saying, hey, hog call, hog check. Guys, reach out to guys in your platoon. Reach out to your old guys, see how they're doing. Just make a phone call.
Yeah.
Call one guy a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and check in with them because you don't know how they're doing. And they're not going to tell you. You know, so that's one thing we did. And it's up to all of us veterans to be proactive and do that.
It is.
Because how do you know that somebody's doing bad? When you hear about them, they took their life.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you know so-and-so? Yeah, you heard him. He took his life? Really? Damn, I didn't know that. I just talked to him like, oh, it was 8 months ago.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, I just talked to him. Damn, it's 2020. Shit, I guess it's been 2 years since I talked to him.
Yeah.
You know, and that really hits home. We just had to go down for a funeral of one of our fallen snipers that was in my platoon. And we were able to put together about 10 guys to go down and be there for his funeral in Birmingham, Alabama. He was only in for 4 years, but when he was in, he was a stud. I mean, the picture of a Marine, if you want to put a Marine on a poster, he was the picture of what a Marine should be. And he had told us a little bit about his history where he struggled with addiction and alcohol and stuff, but we didn't believe it because we knew him as a stud
Right,
that
right.
didn't
Yeah.
drink, didn't cuss, nothing. And but when we got back to his hometown and we're talking to his family, we're telling him all these great stories about him. They're in shock. They're like, "Are you sure we're talking about the same guy?
Right.
Really?
We only know him as somebody that struggled with addiction and drugs his whole life, and we didn't know any of these things about him being a great Marine."
Wow.
And we're like, "Yeah, that's why we're here, to
Yeah.
make sure you guys know how he was, so we can remember his legacy for how he was as a Marine for us. Now, we can't speak for you guys, but this is what we know. We're
Right.
telling how we know him." Well, the family was blown away.
Wow.
Blown away. They had no clue. The community was blown away. They had no clue. And that was just super important for us as snipers to get there and tell them, this is how we remember him, and this is how we want him to be remembered. You guys have your own memories of him, but we want to let you know that there was greatness inside of him,
Yeah.
even if you guys didn't see it.
Oh
And,
my gosh.
And then you start realizing, you start talking, well, they don't know the real Chris Booker, but no, sometimes you got to realize that you don't know the real Chris Booker.
Mm.
You know
Interesting, yeah.
the perfect scenario, situation, controlled environment that a person could possibly be in the Marine Corps as a scout sniper. That was only 4 years of his life. This guy was 40 years old. So for the other 26 years of his life, he was a different person. We only knew the best version of him that we could see for those couple years. So is it that they don't know the real Chris Booker, or do we not know the real Chris Booker?
Well, but I think there's a beauty to that, in that when someone is given a team, a community, support, encouragement, and is actually encouraged to exceed what people would expect.
Yeah.
This is what you get.
Yeah.
That's a
when
good
you
point.
allow someone
Mm-hmm.
to just let the weight of the world, and no one's there to help him, or he's got no team, no community.
Exactly.
This is what you get.
And what
It's the
the
same
expectations are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're expecting them,
Right.
you've already set their ceiling at
Exactly.
this low.
And we could tell that a lot of the family members and a lot of the people in the community seemed like they had written him off
yeah,
years ago.
exactly.
So they didn't even really want to hear what we had to say.
Yeah.
That's sad.
And as we're looking out through the crowd, we're like, this is weird. But his mother has texted me and called and just, thank you guys. You don't know how much it meant. You guys
Oh, I
have
can only
changed.
imagine.
Dude, you
Yeah.
changed our life like we didn't know. We had no clue that Chris was like this with y'all and how you felt about him. And, we made him a nice shadow box for the family, so they got it up on their mantle. And it was an awesome weekend. And that's exactly what we have to do.
That's
we have
fantastic.
to continue to do things like that.
How can people find you? You guys are on your webs?
Yeah, so you can find us. We're on all social media platforms. If you just search USMC Scout Sniper Association.
Okay.
But
It's all one word, USMC.
Yep, but our website is scoutsniper.org.
Okay.
You can go to that website. You can click to donate. You can click, if you're a sniper, you can click to become a member, to put in an application to become a member. You can click to request to be for a hog call.
Yeah.
Or you can click to seek assistance.
Great.
And within 24 hours, somebody on our team will get in contact with you and make it happen.
Awesome. We'll put that in the show description for sure, so people can find you. And you're like on LinkedIn and all that shit too.
Yep, LinkedIn. So my personal LinkedIn is, I'm Jonathan Taylor, JT Taylor, Jonathan Taylor. You can find me on anything, but
Jonathan, not Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
And
Just making sure people know.
but the same thing, we're USMC Scout Sniper Association. You can find us on any platform.
Okay.
We got a pretty good social media following, and a lot of activity on social media.
Yeah.
We're always putting out content.
Well, I just love that within 24 hours someone will contact
Yep,
us.
within 24 hours we'll contact you, and within, I think we just put a new policy in. It's 42 or 72 hours we'll have a decision.
Oh,
So
Oh,
we'll
wow.
be actioning on whatever it is that you
nice.
need. And like I said, if it's somebody just needs financial assistance, then we're going to make them provide a budget. We're going to talk to them, like, how did you get in this situation? What can we do moving forward?
Keep you
Yeah.
from
How can we
getting
keep you
it
from
again.
getting back in this
Yeah.
situation? Because just throwing money at money issues is not always the problem.
No.
It's how did it get to
Yeah.
this, you know?
Yeah.
And, but we're here to do it. That's what we're here for. You know,
A community, a
we're a
strong
community.
community. I
Every
love it.
dime that comes to us from donations goes straight to serving a sniper in need in some way, whether it's supporting our shooting events or whether it's providing just straight assistance to the sniper and their family. But there's no paid members, no paid board members or positions on our board. So it's all the money goes right into account, and it's just there for snipers in need.
Awesome.
That's cool.
I
Well,
will turn it to you.
I know. So this is my favorite question. I like to close out the show with this question. What was your best day in the Marine Corps?
Best day in the Marine Corps for me. Man, I had so many. I really did have so many. But I would say, so it has to do with sniper stuff, I guess. So when I was when I went to sniper school the first time, like one of the last weeks of sniper school, the last phase, we call it like Hell Week kind of. And you're doing a lot of graded events throughout this week, with little sleep. And I came down with a very super crazy medical issue with double pink eye in both eyes.
Oh, dang.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, and like so bad that it turned into something else, some kind of other crazy infection. So I couldn't see at all, and I had to wear sunglasses inside and outside. I couldn't look at any light. Had extreme light sensitivity.
Jeez.
Went to BAS, and they're like, you can, if you want to try to tough it out, you can, but you're not gonna be able to see, and you're not gonna be able to use light. You can't see any light, and you're highly contagious. So.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
And so, talked to the instructors, and they're like, if you decide to drop, if you drop for medical, that's fine. We'll bring you right back next course. Like, oh man, I was almost done with the course, I was like, but I don't want to risk it during Hell Week because everything is graded.
Yeah.
And I don't want to blow it. So I stepped out and then came right back to the next course and passed whatever. But the best day is in that when I was at the course and we were on their final evaluation of stalking. Stalking is the hardest part at sniper school. It's what gets everybody dropped. Everybody drops for stalking. And I was on my last stalk, and I had to have 100% on this stalk to be able to get a remedial stalk to make up for my low score. So if I didn't make 100 on this last stalk, I couldn't even get the remedial stalk to get a chance to bump my score up. So it was kind of like everybody was like, you ain't.
Because they have it.
And on my remedial stalk, I had to also make 100.
Oh,
So I went out. It wasn't very promised. Wasn't very excited about it. So that day, our last stalk day, we go out to the stalk lane, and I'm getting ready, and I like wave to my friends, bye guys. They're like, you're gonna do it. Be positive. 100, and I was all right. So I get out there, boom, I shoot 100. Well, I come off the stalk lane, and I'm like walking back and got all my gear, and I got my head down. And the guys are at the staging area that had got done with their stalk, and they're like looking at me, waiting to give them a sign. They're like, well, and I'm like shaking my head, and they're like, oh no. I'm like, 100. They're like, yeah. And then, of course, one dude, you still gotta make 100 tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. That's always me. I'm usually that asshole.
And but anyway, next day, make 100. So now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pass sniper school. That's probably the best day is when I did that, because it's
like a phoenix coming out of the ashes.
Yeah.
But to me, stalking is one of those things, and that's why it drops a lot of people's, because for some people it just takes longer to click. There's so many aspects, intricate aspects to getting the skill of stalking down. But I think once it clicks within you and you've got those, you can put all those pieces together, it clicks and it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And, for me, I think after that day, 1 out of 3 stalks, I'd have probably got 100, just because I think it finally clicked.
Right.
And back then we only got 6 graded stalks. You had to have an 80% or higher average, and you had to have at least 100. So That's not a lot of tries
Right.
to get that 80%. So a lot of people were just dropping because of that. They were really stellar dudes, but just
not a lot of
didn't.
opportunities.
The stalking just didn't click.
Yeah.
Quick enough. You may have given one or two more stalks and it might have clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in that ballpark. So when it clicked, man. And I was like, I got 100. The next day I got 100. And I was like, I'll probably get 100 again tomorrow. It just finally kicked in. So I was really grateful for that. And that set me up, for the rest of my time in.
That's great.
I wasn't the greatest sniper ever known to man. I'll never say that. I was a goofball. I was the class clown. Always have been, always will be. But I cared about my guys. I cared about operational success, and always made sure that I did what we had to do to get everybody back home safe.
Yeah.
And when we left the wire, it was all business, and that's my one thing I can be.
Hurrah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, JT, man, thank you so much for coming in. This has been great. Like I said, we'll put all that stuff in the show description, but appreciate your time. And then, I don't know, is congratulations the right word or whatever, but really proud for your accomplishment.
Yeah, man. I think the commanding general still has to sign off on it.
Okay.
But the evaluation board of the panel,
from History Division,
they voted. They've agreed to accept it. So now I just have to
very cool.
put the paperwork together, and they have to get it signed off.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you for telling your story. I really appreciate your boldness in breaking with what is traditional in your sniper community and talking about your story. I think it's important.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on. And anything that we can do with the Scout Sniper Association to help Leatherneck, let me know. And
absolutely. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we're all about it.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Scuttlebutt is a production of the Marine Corps Association. You have heard the voices or contributions from Major Vic Rubel, USMC retired, Nancy Litchman, William Truding, and our guest. Ty Frazier is the editor, sound engineer, and technical producer. The Marine Corps Association is not an agency of the U.S. government. The opinions expressed in this episode are the personal views of the participants and do not reflect the official position of the United States Marine Corps, the Department of Defense, or the Marine Corps Association.